Because there's been a lot of times when they've done things, it's like, we tell them, listen, we need to know what happened. So just tell us the truth. Just don't lie to us, okay? You're probably going to have some kind of repercussion for this, no doubt. But we're going to really fix it if you're lying, because we just know that honesty can get you so far in life, and dishonesty can just like cut off all opportunities in your life.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. All right, here we go. Jacquie was just saying, do you hear the best? We're podcasting in my office, and then outside of my office is the garage, and then outside of that's the basketball hoop. And so Truce is out there, the ball bouncing right now. We usually, Jacquie we can look at our window in our backyard, and usually there's kids out there. So when we're doing these podcasts, it's just fun. It's like we're literally doing it within our environment
so true.
of parenting, But let's continue our conversation. We've been talking a lot about what standards are, how to carry them everywhere you go. Let's just take a minute here and just list some of the ones that come to the front of our mind of standards that we have that we expect them to carry elsewhere. What would be some of the ones that you would mention?
Definitely honor and respect. Mm-hmm. Those are some big ones for us. We're big on the fact that our children, recognize all adults and say hello to them, and they look them in the eye. And if they shake a hand or if they're doing a high five, whatever might be appropriate at the time, that our kids do that, and that they name them Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. Like, typically we pick the first name. I don't know when that started, but it's typically like, Miss Sarah or, Mr. Mike or whatever it may be. And no matter what that age is, because we just feel like whether they're young adults or whatever, that these are adults that we honor. Right.
So honor authority. Mm-hmm. Honor people older than you, and you do that just by doing some of the things you just said. We don't do this is Aunt so-and-so and Uncle so-and-so when they're not really their aunt and uncle. Like, it's just a choice that we made. I don't think there's a problem for other people that do that, and they think it's just a term of endearment for a close friend. I'm not judging it, right? But just for us, we always really wanted to make sure that we kept a real level of honor, like, for say your brother and sister-in-law. We want them to be called Uncle and, Uncle Nick, Aunt Heather, right? Because they actually really are, and it doesn't create any kind of confusion. However, everybody else, we're always just like, hey, this is Mr., Chris, or this is, Miss Katie. We just have them call them that. And they're, even if they say, you don't have to call me that, they're like, it's okay, I don't mind, And then if it's a coach, we always ask them right away. We always tell our kids, right away, can you ask the coach day one, listen, I want to be able to honor you properly. Would you prefer I call you Mr. So-and-so or Coach so-and-so? Can you just tell me, and I'll address you that way from now on.
Right. And whether it's their first name or last name or whatever the coach says, like, it could be, Coach John, or is it, Coach Smith, whatever it may be, we just make sure our kids know. And whether or not anybody else does it, like, we just teach our kids have been on sports teams before where some of the athletes just didn't want to call the coach by coach. They called him just by the last name, like it was some basketball friend or something like that, or just some like.
And that was partially the coach's fault. The coach didn't have any standards. He was kind of a unique guy, right? And so, but our kids upheld it, and they kind of caught a little bit of a attitude from some of the other players because they're trying to make them look like they're, kissing up or something like that. But the reality is they were just showing honor. It's so interesting, though. When you're doing the right thing and other people aren't, it's amazing how uncomfortable it makes them. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's so funny because our kids totally felt like they just felt so good about themselves, regardless if somebody was kind of making fun of them or something. And again, you guys, doing the right thing is never easy. You know that even as an adult, doing the right thing is never easy. And teaching our kids young that even though you don't fit in with everything doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing the right thing sometimes. And And I think, again, wherever they do it once, it'll be repeated. So that's definitely an area of ours that we teach and we uphold.
Yeah, we weren't meant to fit in. We were made to stand out.
That's true.
Right? And that's kind of a standard in our house. So yeah, and just one last point on this. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just know from experience of doing so much leadership training and even building teams that you don't learn well from people you don't appreciate. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to show honor to someone who's in a position of authority. Even if they're not a great coach, you still call them a coach.
Yes.
If the minute that stops, you're not learning from them. You're not really being able to benefit from being underneath their authority, right? And so just another thing that we take time to teach our children, so that way it's not just a rule to have a rule. There's reasons why we do this. Besides that, you also bring out the best in your coaches, in your teachers, and people in authority when you do show them honor. Like it also opens doors of promotion. Mm-hmm. Because our kids are so they're so big on this kind of stuff. Then guess what? If there's are you going to be on the A or the B team, and it's between you and somebody else who's equal in skill, right? Guess who's going? The person who shows the most honor, because the coach knows they can take them further. Mm-hmm. So it opens doors for promotion too. What's another standard?
Well, I just have a quick question for you.
Oh boy. Wow. You look like you've been thinking about it for a while too.
Saying
you were kind of giving me the zone out. Mm-hmm,
I was.
Mm-hmm,
I was.
I could tell you were like, so.
Why
Okay.
is it the
Here
saying?
we go.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like, do we beat dead horses? Like, where does that saying come from?
I lost you that far back.
Yes.
That was like 3 minutes ago.
I
was spitting out golden nuggets here.
I'll have to listen to the podcast.
You do need to review this one.
I just want to know.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I mean, did the horse get dead from beating it to begin with, and then so it was right until it died, and then it's wrong afterwards? And it's a good point.
And why do we all keep talking about beating a dead horse? Like, what kind of people are we?
I don't know. Sounds like a good research project to figure out where this saying actually came from.
Yeah.
So.
Moving on.
Are you over it yet?
No, but I'll do my research.
Okay. You do your research and come back soon with the answer, okay? What's another standard that we like our kids to carry out in public?
Yeah, definitely for us, again, it's, the standard of like responsibility.
Okay.
We, we're responsible people in our household. We're going to be where we say we're going to be. We're going to, speak up when we need to speak up. We're going to do the right thing, even if those around us aren't. I find it's so amazing how our kids will go up and, I was just with somebody the other day. Our children were playing, and it was so funny because I was sitting with the mom, and the girls and I were sitting around with mom. We were just chatting, and Hunter came down from the playroom area playing with their child, my friend's child. And she didn't come to me or anything. She went right up to that mom and she said, Miss So-and-so, I just got to tell you, he stole that toy right out of my hand. And the mom was like, I looked at Hunter like, whoa, like she didn't come talk to me about it. She went straight up with all.
She didn't come to you crying and like, why would he do this? And can you fix it?
No, with all clearness in her voice and her eyes looking straight at the mom, Miss So-and-so, he took that out of my hand. And she was like, thank you for letting me know. This is a teaching and learning opportunity. Let me go chat with him. And I just looked at her. I was like, okay, Hunter, that was very responsible. The way you didn't get upset. You didn't throw something back at him. You didn't grab anything. You didn't make a bigger deal out of this.
And nice job from the mom.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Total kudos to the mom.
She appreciated it.
Yes.
Said, I'm going to go address this. Thank you.
So I thought it was really mature and responsible of her in the way Hunter. And then I go, okay, Hunter, well, when he's done talking to his mom, he'll be back up and play. Why don't you go ahead and you can go back upstairs and wait for him. So mom had talked to the son, and son goes back upstairs, and I hear Hunter go, what'd your mom say to you? I was like, okay. I call up, Hunter, how about you take care of you? His mom took care of him. But, she felt this need to be very honoring and very responsible to come down and just explain the situation. And I gave our kids credit because I see, even with our big girls, they'll make sure that if a situation is going on that isn't correct and the behavior's not on track, that they'll go up and they'll make sure that they say something to somebody. They'll inform somebody, hey, I just want to let you know this was going on over here. I thought you should know about that, or they'll make sure a parent realizes, or an adult figure, if they're somewhere, hey, I just want to let you know this isn't what we do at our house, but I saw this happening over here type thing. And I just think it's so responsible. It's speaking up. It's being a person that just doesn't sit there and watch and let things happen, but using your voice, because otherwise you're condoning it. Silence is permission, right? So not allowing things to just happen without speaking up is so important. It doesn't show honor and respect if you just say, well, I knew that was wrong, but I didn't want to say anything.
Right.
And so I love that our kids are willing to speak up. And if they don't feel like they can say it right then in that situation, they always get in the car and talk to us about it. They'll be like, hey, this situation happened. How would you have handled it?
There's kind of a dramatic pause back there, like about 30 seconds ago.
Did I lose you 30 seconds ago?
Well, I didn't know
I'm not
if you had an expectation
beating a dead horse again, okay?
for me to say something. And when I was about to, you took off again. So.
Well, I was deep in thought, babe, and you were thinking about other stuff. I could tell.
It was actually. I was thinking about what we're going to, our next point. I think another one is, to be honest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because you are a kid still, and even if you're out and you're in an atmosphere and you end up getting caught up and do something that you probably shouldn't have, or we call it Drew's, okay? We go to cross country practice, and he's, they're all getting ready to go. So what do the girls do? All the girls are over there and they're all chit chatting, and Chrissy just loves it. It's just like, let's just talk and let's engage and let's connect. And it's just it's so life giving to her, Ellie's over there too. And then you see Drew, she's over with the boys, and what are they doing? They found some hole in the side of the wall in the school, and they're trying to throw pine cones into it. It's some kind of exhaust vent or something, but it's a contest to see who can get them.
An exhaust vent?
And finally, of course, it's like Drew, he's so competitive. Like, he's just edging his way in. Of course, he finally makes one, And I'm just sitting here, but the thing is, like, if his coach comes over and said, all right, who did that? He wouldn't sit there and just blow it off. He would be like, actually, I did. No, I'll just own it. You know what I mean? I got caught up in the moment, but I'll just own it. Do I need to go get a ladder with my dad and get rid of this thing? Because we've trained him to be that way. Because there's been a lot of times when they've done things, it's like, we tell them, listen, we need to know what happened. So just tell us the truth. Just don't lie to us, okay? You're probably going to have some kind of repercussion for this, no doubt. But we're going to really fix it if you're lying, because we just know that honesty can get you so far in life, and dishonesty can just like cut off all opportunities in your life. People will sniff out that you're dishonest. We're dealing with it with business stuff. You know what I mean? We're kind of been working around different environments and endeavors. And over time, you realize, you know what, this might be a good opportunity, but I don't know if these people are fully telling the truth. I don't know if they're really fully trustworthy. And then, of course, that limits, I don't know if this is our place to be doing something. And then we don't bring our value to the table, or not just us, but anybody. You know what I mean? Right. So honesty is a big one.
Well, and I like what you said about honesty, because, again, I want to remind everybody, not like our kids do this perfect. We've gone down seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Where...
like flat out bad lying, for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once we figure it out, we've had to do some correction.
Yeah.
And so I will just tell you.
And how did we figure it out? Because our kid that was lying started acting so different than who they really are. Like consistently acting different, like light dimming kind of acting. Just really like, we're like, what is happening right now? Right.
And it happened long enough that we're like, this isn't just a day, we're having a day.
And then when we would press it to try to find out, we still weren't getting any answers. So there was like lies that were left alone so long that now they were kind of dug their toes in the sand and, said, I'm not moving on this. Right.
Which again is responsibility of the parent to, really be paying attention to what's going on with your child, having that Holy Spirit discernment to let you know, my child is behaving in a way that isn't who they are. I'm going to get to the bottom of this and make sure that I get some real answers here.
Yeah. So, another one I can think of off the top of my head for our standards is just our appearance.
Good.
Right. It's just when we're out in public, we're gonna look well. We're not gonna have boogers hanging out of our nose and something stuck between our teeth, or we're not gonna be dressed like bums, and
we're not gonna be hanging out in our PJs.
Yeah.
Thinking that that's dressing up, or
just be. In other words, like for a perfect example, Hunter decides, I just don't want to get out of my pajamas today, Mom, when I go to church. It's like, you don't have a choice. This is a standard that we have, right? Like, because you see it, you see that happen sometimes, and it's just, I think all of our kids probably would have done that if we let them.
Well, I mean, I know examples when some of the girls were younger. I'd be like, it's time to jump in the shower, go shower, and they didn't feel like washing their hair, and so they'd get it wet and not wash it, and then the next morning I'm looking at their hair and I'm like, wow, is that shampoo not working? Like, I'm like questioning. And I do a little more research. I peek my head in one time when they're supposed to be washing their hair, and come to find out, all they're doing is throwing water on it and getting out again. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they are creative though. Drew's, when we're about ready to leave to go somewhere, and he's a very lovey kid, so give me a hug or something, and I'm like, did you brush your teeth? Yeah. Mom told me to. I just did. I'm like, you need to do it again. I don't know what you did.
Or what you brushed it with. The best is when they went through the season, we were like, yeah, Mom, I did. I was like, really? Gosh, this toothpaste, we've had this for a while. Come to find out, we're out of mint mouthwash, and all they've been doing is using mouthwash instead of brushing their teeth with toothpaste.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They weren't brushing. They were just doing some mouthwash.
They weren't even brushing?
Yeah.
They figured as long as their breath's a little better.
And they put water on their toothbrush. They would go as far as again. Jeez. I like to tell you that our kids don't do stuff, and then I'm like,
that's gross.
I figured they learned it from you. They didn't learn it from me. Like, is that something you did growing up?
So you automatically assume it would be me, because they had to learn something like that from me or you, and it for sure wasn't you, of course.
You got it. Right.
Mary Poppins over here, pleasantly perfect in every way. All right, on to the next one. Hey everyone, thanks for listening, and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.